Hello, everyone. We have Akhil Sai here for an interview. He did his analytics masters in Australia, and he's working as a data and reporting analyst from in Country Road Group. And we will go over Akhil's journey of pursuing his studies in Australia and how he got a job, and he will provide a lot of tips if you have any plans of pursuing your higher studies from Australia. Now we're going to cover various topics such as how much does it cost for your education in Australia, funding and scholarships. We'll talk about the starting salary after master degree, how is the job opportunities and the visa process, and we'll cover a lot of different aspects. So you will learn a lot from Akhil's experience, just in case you are planning for studies in Australia, and if the studies is in data analytics or let's say business analytics. Now, if you look at Akhil's background, he did his bachelor's in computer science from Jawaharlal Nehru Technological University. He had an offer from Amazon as well as Capgemini in India as a software engineer. So Capgemini was software engineer, Amazon was a little less technical, but then he decided to pursue his higher studies from Deakin University in Australia. So that was 2017 and 18. And after that, he did some internships. He worked as a digital marketing analyst as well. And now he is in Country Road Group working as a data analyst. So, Akhil, thank you very much for spending time for this conversation.
Thank you, Dhaval. It's my honor speaking with you, and I really thank you for all the support you provide on YouTube. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah. So let's talk about your master's. So after your graduation, you had this job offers and you were also thinking about doing your master's. Now you had several options, right? Like US, Canada, various countries. So why did you select Australia?
Right. So I was primarily interested in Canada and US
Mhm.
since the beginning, but most of my what I've been hearing from my seniors and
Mhm.
other friends is that the no matter the universities were less in terms of number in Canada and Australia, they are still good universities and provide the same experience as other universities in US too. Then I narrowed down my countries to Canada and Australia. So
Mhm.
when I had few offers from Canada as well, and I
Mhm.
had few from Australia. The reason why I picked Australia is the rankings of the university. Given my degree, the business analytics comes under a business school. I looked at the rankings and chose, okay, this has good ranking. Deakin Business School had a greater ranking than the universities in Canada. So that was my only reason.
I see. And your study is in business analytics, right? Your degree was in a master's in information system in business analytics. So how that is different from data analytics or data science studies?
Yeah, so masters in business analytics is majorly around, they teach you a bit of business analysis and
Mm,
also they incorporate some data analysis into it as well. For
mm,
example, some of my subjects were fundamentals in data analytics, and I had statistical programming, that sort of topics as well. And
mm,
I had business programming mapping.
mm,
So in a nutshell, if someone will ask me what's the difference between a business analytics major and a data science major, it will be primarily around the business analytics will give you a bit of analytics as well as
mm,
business information, like how would you analyze a business. And
mhm.
in by terms of degree, if you choose a business analyst major, you can apply for business analyst role as well. But
Oh,
if yeah, if you choose a data science major, you'll be primarily more like data analyst, junior data engineer, that sort of roles.
I see. All right.
Yeah.
And at some point during your studies, you started working as You, I think, did some internship and jobs. So you want to talk about those?
Sure. So when I came to Australia, everyone around me were looking for jobs. We had to find some part-time jobs to support ourselves during the masters, and I just started a applying spree on the internet. I started applying for jobs, then realized the resume format
Mm,
differs from country to country. So I
mm,
had to change my resume according to Australian format, and I started
mm,
applying. But there was no response at all. I applied for more than 30 jobs. Nothing happened.
um,
And then we had a session, it's alumni session sort of thing in our university. And there was this senior who was called Amir Kutub. He mentioned in one of his seminars, he mentioned that if there aren't opportunities around you, you should create one for yourself. And that really struck a chord with me. And then what happened is to support my living here, I started working in a warehouse, in a grocery warehouse as a stock filler. And after a couple of months, I myself realized that the guy I was working for, or the store I was working for, had a good website, but it
mm,
wasn't as it could be a lot better, and they did not have any social media presence or something like that. So I went to the owner and I told I gave him a little PowerPoint presentation and just said, "Hey, I can do this for you. We can do this. We can build the website. We can increase your omni-channel presence and stuff." And he was happy. He gave me a 3 month trial period sort of thing.
mm,
Then immediately I created a Facebook page. I created an Instagram page. I could do. We have a Twitter account as well, and that did well. We had customers reaching out to us. We had customers who looked at the Facebook page and came to us. The hashtag was very trending back then, 2 years ago, and
mm,
that all helped us. That in that way, I started getting some local experience. That was my entry to the whole digital analytics and everything. Um, so that was my job during my masters. Meanwhile, I was sure I need some industrial experience as well, and I picked up few remote projects in Upwork and some other websites. Like usually, the universities have a career website, and
mm,
there you can apply for a number of jobs. And in that way, I found a couple of internships. One of them was SEO analyst, and another was a content manager. So in this way, that's how everything came together. And by end of my trimester, so here in Australia, masters is not on a semester basis,
mm,
which it's in Canada and US. It's called a trimester, and you have 2 to 3 trimesters in 1 year. And in 4 trimesters, you can finish your master's degree. That's
mm,
how it works. And one trimester is approximately 4 months, 4 to 5 months.
mm,
So by in my last trimester, because I had all this previous bits and pieces of experience, they helped me get a internship in the university itself.
mm,
It was more like a work integrated learning thing for me,
mm,
and
mm,
I could actually get a credit for 1 unit because I did the internship in the university itself.
mm,
And there I worked for Deakin Genie.
mm,
It's an application our university has. It's more like Siri, where you can ask anything, it will respond to your questions. So yeah, that internship was there for 4 to 5 months, and that prepped me. That gave me the work experience, all the knowledge I had to know, and then I started applying for jobs once my master's was over. So that's my master's story.
okay. And then how did you go to get a job after that?
So initially, I thought once I ticked off the local experience slash Australian work experience bracket, I had an inner feeling that it would be easy for me, but it wasn't. So
Mm,
November 2019 was when I finished my master's. I started applying for jobs again. I had a call. I had a bunch of calls. I went to a bunch of interviews. Many rejected because they found better person than me, or because I didn't have a permanent residency or a citizenship. So after around approximately 10 rejections, There was a contract opportunity which not point at my current company, and it was initially a 2 month contract, 2 to 3 month contract, and I was a bit skeptical in the beginning while speaking with the HR because it's just 2 or 3 months and it's not a substantiate amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
But then my friends encouraged me that you you want to enter the industry and this is your real chance in doing it. Even though it's 2 or 3 months, then I think you should go for it. My family supported me; they wanted me to take as well, and even I was like, okay, let's see what happens. It won't harm you anyway. So I picked that internship up, and then after 3 months, I was fortunate enough they offered me a full time role within the same organization, and that's how I'm in my current job. That's my current job.
Nice. So I think you said very nice thing that you need to create an opportunity for yourself. So although you are in business analytics, you are getting a job in warehouse or a digital marketing analyst, you are
Yeah,
always open to doing different things. And
different.
I think the dots got connected, and now here you are living a good life in Australia, having a nice job. How much does it cost for a master's in Australia?
So there are roughly 15 to 20 universities here in whole Australia, and we can divide them in three different tiers. So there is something called as GO8, Grade 8 universities, which are the top 8 universities. Usually those universities are expensive and can cost you around 4,500 to 4,800 per subject, and you will have 16 subjects, which will be more than 70,000 AUD for your whole 2 years. And then in the tier B universities, you'll have your subject ranging from 3,500 to 4,000, and they can cost you approximately 10 or 15,000 less than the top 8 universities. And it's roughly, if you pick a good university, not the best one, I would say you would be spending around 60 to 65,000 AUD just for masters.
I see. And that's tuition fees. How about your other costs like groceries, rent, and all that?
Right. So the cost of living is a bit higher in Australia if you compare with other countries. So, for example, if you are sharing your own personal room with other people or bunch of people, then you would be spending around $400 to $500 per month, and grocery would approximately cost you 50 per week, which is again 200 per month.
Hmm.
And your miscellaneous cost, your bills, all that stuff would be another 200 to 50. So on average, we are talking if a student wants to live a minimal decent life, he would be spending around 1,000 to 1,200, and it varies from person to person how much he spends and
Got it.
everything. But
So
on
this is just a
average,
ballpark number so people get an
ballpark
idea.
figure, yeah, right. And if you
Very
if
good.
you want to live more comfortably, you can have your own room where you'll be paying probably $800 instead of 4 or 500,
Hmm.
and you'll be spending 1,500 a month more than that.
Are there any funding or scholarships available?
Good question. Actually, there are
Hmm.
heaps of scholarships in Australia, especially the if you go back to India and meet the agents or the consultants, they will
Hmm.
definitely guide you in the scholarships. In
Hmm.
fact, I had a scholarship. I had a 20% scholarship in my master's degree. With so it's based on how well you did in your bachelor's actually,
Hmm.
and depending on your bachelor score they give you a 10, 15, or 20%, in some cases 25% as well.
Hmm.
And I know few people who had a merit score in bachelor's, like they were the university toppers or something, and they had a full waiver of masters, like they did masters for free. So if you have really strong academic background and you can prove it, there are very good scholarship options here.
Oh, but the percentage of people getting full 100% scholarship will be less, correct?
Very
Would
less,
you
yeah.
say out of 100, maybe five people get, or maybe one person get it?
Probably two or three, I would say.
I see.
Uh, but again, if you really have good academic scores, you can actually demand them saying, "Hey, I did my bachelor's in this, and my GPA is whatever 8 or 9, and can I get more scholarship? We are able to ask that, and they'll respond to you.
I see. And what is
Yeah.
the starting salary after your studies?
Right. So usually it's 70 to 80 grand, 80,000 for a medium sized company. Let's say if you joined a small company, then it would be somewhere around 60 to 65,000. Let's say you joined the big four like Microsoft, PwC. If you got lucky, then I wouldn't be surprised if it's 90 to 100 grand.
I see. So pretty much, if you get a job within 1 year, you can cover all your cost. Is that correct?
Yeah. If you get a job, I think in a couple of years, if you save enough, you'll be able to recover whatever you spent for your masters.
I see. Now, if someone has a BCom background in India, like can
Mm.
that person pursue masters in data analyst from
Yes,
Australia?
definitely. Yeah, definitely possible. I think his main priority should be convincing the university in his SOP, statement of purpose, when that's the document we write when we apply for the course,
Hmm.
usually. And if he's able to convince them why he is genuinely interested in pursuing a data analytics degree or something like
Hmm.
that,
Hmm.
then he is definitely able to do some get into masters of data analysis or anything.
Hmm.
And I actually have a friend who did bachelor's in accounting
Hmm.
or BBA, and they've done business analytics with me. So
Hmm.
it's possible.
Very good. Because many times subscribers on my channel ask me this question that I have become, can I do data analyst course or
Right.
can I become data analyst? I'm like, yeah, you're a perfect match for that. Data analyst is not all coding and technical things. It's more
That's right.
about math and statistics that covered during your BCom studies. It's about economics, some business sense. All of
Yeah.
those things which you learn in BCom are going to be super useful. So definitely they can do it. Now, overall, how are job opportunities in Australia after?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a very small and confined market, especially when you compare with other countries like US or Canada. All the companies here are mostly Australian companies, Australian startups, and there are headquarters for every Microsoft, Google, Apple, but they are the Asia Pacific headquarters here. So there's roughly good amount of companies here, but definitely less when we compare with other countries.
Mm,
The job opportunities are minimal for a person who just finished his masters, because they want a permanent residency most of the times, or a citizenship. But some companies are that is changing these days. It was a
mm,
lot before, but now they are accepting people with other visas as well. In fact, I don't have a permanent residency or citizenship, but
mm,
I'm still working in organizations, and I have friends who are doing that. So it's gradually changing. And then their other requirement would be local work experience. That's
mm,
because the companies want the employee to basically have an understanding of how it is to work in an Australian workplace,
mm,
and they want to know if it's a good cultural fit. Will
mm,
he will he be able to mingle with people? Will he be
mm,
a nice fit to the team? So their primary requirements would be Australian work experience, and the PR and citizenship thing. But if you have working rights, that should do as well, which you get after you finish your master's degree. So it's not a barrier, but
mm.
definitely possible.
I see. So that takes us to the next question, which is what is the visa process?
Yeah, great. So first you come as a student, and before that you pick a right university, you pick your course, you apply, you get a scholarship if applicable. You
Mm,
get a 2-year visa for your student, for your
mm,
degree. It
mm,
can be bachelor's. Bachelor's is usually 4 years here. If it's master's, you get a 2-year master's degree.
mm,
There is master's with research as well,
mm,
which is masters as well, but just with the research option, and it gives you a pathway for PhD if you're keen in future.
mm,
So that visa is for 2 years, 3 years, depending on what degree you take. And then after that, you get a 2-year extension, which is called temporary graduate visa. And it's
Mm,
also called as temporary resident. And in this 2 years, you have full working rights. You can work anywhere in Australia for anyone, and it's all up to you. So in a nutshell, I had 4 years since I started.
mm-hmm. I see. So it's not like many people have to leave the country. Is it like, do you see many people who come as masters, they don't get visa, they don't get a job, and they have to leave leave Australia and go back? Do you see many of such cases happening?
So everyone gets the second visa, which I spoke about.
Mm,
Everyone is eligible for that, no matter if they are working or not working, if they have a job or do not have a job. So when someone gets a student visa, he is straight away eligible for an 4-year thing.
mm,
All he needs to do for applying the second temporary resident visa is he has to finish his degree
mm.
and maintain some health insurances, all that stuff, and he's pretty much eligible. There is, I think, less than 1% of
I see.
declines in that visa category.
Got
Um,
it.
yeah, there are people, my friends, who were a bit
Mm,
disappointed with the job industry and left
mm,
back to their home countries. But I would say if we try hard and try in
mm,
the right way, I
mm,
definitely think it's possible. Because even when I started, all I
mm,
heard is it's not possible to get a job in the industry.
mm,
It is very hard to crack here, all that stuff.
mm,
But I think if you know what you're doing, and if you
mm.
follow the right path and choose the right tools to do it, I definitely think it's possible. And I have few friends who are working in the industry, who studied with me as well.
Mm.
So yeah, it's possible.
All right, great. And how does the interview process look, right? Like, do they look at if you're from prestigious college, and
Mhm.
what is the general overall process for the interview?
So I think the first I'll tell if the college matters. In a short answer is no, it doesn't matter. They are more keen around what projects you did, what internship experience did you do any internships, or did you do any side projects when you were a student? Like for example, if someone is applying for a web developer job, they'll be more keen to understand, do you have your own personal website? Did you do
Mm,
any freelancing, or did you do anything? For
mm,
example, in my case, so I was really when I was looking for jobs, I went with a short data analysis on the company I was applying for. I was going to interview for. For
mm,
example, let's say I was going to interview for Microsoft. I did
mm,
some analysis on beforehand
mm,
in my personal space, and then I provided him, hey, this is I could do this
mm,
as an example. I did this for your company. This is like a template of my
mm,
work, and
mm,
these are my side projects which are in my resume. I can speak about it as well. So they are more keen about what you worked on if you have any local experience. um, so university doesn't play a major role. Maybe it gives you a bit of advantage if you are from the top 4 or 3 universities, but
mm.
it's not like, oh, you're from a so and so university, you'll be declined. That's not
Okay,
possible.
that's really good because then
Yeah,
what matters is like what kind of work you have done and your skills. So that's
exactly.
really a
Yeah,
fair system actually.
yeah, yeah.
So you want to share your personal interview experience, like when you were interviewing as a data analyst, like
Mm.
did they ask for any coding question? What was the whole overall hiring process? Just share your experience.
Yeah. So the first round is usually a telephonic conversation between the HR and myself. That's
Mm,
usually the first round in every interview I've been through. So they ask basic questions like, what did you do? Why are you interested in applying this position? What
mm,
excites you about the opportunity? Why do you want to leave the current role? These sort of questions, mostly HR questions in the first round. What excites you about the responsibilities? What tools are you currently using? So that'll be the first round. And the second round will be, if they are happy in the first round, in the telephonic interview, they might ask you to meet in person, either in the office or somewhere outside. That is a, it's on a case basis. But usually after the first round, the second round will be with the reporting manager himself, and the HR will be present as well. Now it'll be a bit more technical, where the reporting manager will ask you, "Hey, walk me through your resume. How did you come here? What did you do? What are your projects? Just explain me." He wants to get an understanding of what you did until now. So that'll be the second round. And third round, any assessments. Usually it's not a separate round. Once end of the second round, they'll give you a they'll just turn their laptop and be like, "Can you solve this for me?" It can be a little R code snippet, or it can be some any data analysis, tricky question sort of thing, aptitude. So yeah, that's the usual interview process. And in the fourth round, there are four. Usually it's 3 rounds, but there are companies who go for fourth round, where you meet with the team and you get a chance to just mingle with them, speak with them. It's not a deciding factor, but if you really don't mingle with people, or they don't see you comfortable with them, there are chances you might get declined as
Yeah,
well.
okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
if you perform really horrible, then you get
yeah.
rejected.
That's right. Yeah.
Got it.
Uh,
And are there any networking tips that you want to share during your studies which can help you land a job?
Sure, 100%. I think most of the people, especially from I'm sorry to say this to all my fellow countrymen, but they really don't focus on these networking events, or attending meetups,
Mm,
or volunteering, or doing any sort of sidekick project, something like
mm,
that.
mm,
But I really think that makes a difference, and it has
mm,
helped in my case. So well, university, I would recommend every student, no matter what degree they are in, I
mm,
would recommend them to attend all the events of the university. There are resume workshops, there are career workshops. There is a lot of support provided by the university. We just ignore a lot of times. We just don't have time, or we just don't bother going to it. I highly recommend going to all the university workshops, events, all the other events, because they give you a chance to interact with a bunch of people, either your seniors or the lecturers, professors, anyone. So I would recommend everyone to go to the university events, workshops. And second one would be to attend meetups.
mm,
Meetups is an app where you can personalize your interest, and anyone in data analytics space interested in data science or data analytics, they get access to a bunch of events where people come and discuss their work. They show what they did in their organization or a side project, and usually there are people who actually found jobs in the meetups as well, because someone giving a presentation will tell them, "Oh,
mm,
hey, I have a junior developer role in my organization. If anyone is keen, come and talk to me or apply in our website." So you
mm,
get a chance to directly meet with the person who is working in that particular organization. You can go speak to him directly, and who knows, if you are suitable, you might have an opportunity to get an interview at least. So
mm,
meetups would be my second thing, and I would recommend following recruiters on LinkedIn
mm,
to see if they are sharing any tips, or how's the resume is supposed to be. They usually, recruiters are very friendly, and they are usually sharing a bunch of tips on LinkedIn or any other social media platform. And
mm,
my fourth suggestion would be to be very proactive.
mm,
And you can, if you are really keen, you can actually hire resume writers who can do the resume writing for you. You can
mm,
have a chat with them. They're all HRs,
mm,
and you can have a chat with them, and, "Oh, is this how it works, or is this how the pattern is supposed to be?" And
mm,
even with the job applications, like, let's say you applied for 5 jobs and you got declined for 3, I really think you should ask for those 3 recruiters, saying, "Hey, any reason why I got rejected?
mm,
Is it just because the person had better skills than me, or do you think I should be changing anything in the resume?" Um, it's a great way to actually get feedback from the HR himself,
mm,
telling, "Oh, your resume works fine. Maybe you can change this bit, provide more insight on this, or provide more detail about a project instead of what work you're doing there," something like that.
Got it.
So I think these all will definitely help you shape your resume better.
I see. Now, since you mentioned about resume, if some person doesn't have experience in data science, let's say the person is from BCom background, like,
Mm.
do you want to share any resume building tips for such a person?
I think in that scenario, he should look at data analyst people, people who are working as a data analyst in the industry. Look at their resumes on LinkedIn.
Mm,
Usually, people have their resumes open on LinkedIn. For example, if I really want to understand what the trend is, I can go to Microsoft, Google for the data scientist working there, and look at his resume,
mm,
and that will give you an insight on what your senior has done and
mm,
how his resume is like. What did he mention? Is he
mm,
mentioning the projects? Did he mention the KPIs? Did he
mm,
mention anything substantial, tangible benefit he brought with the project?
mm,
And I guess you can just follow that, or at least it will give you an idea of what you should write in your resume. And someone with coming from a different background, this will be a great insight to him, because he
mm.
wouldn't actually know, because he isn't from the same computer science background. So I think following seniors or asking for help will do the work.
I see. All right. And we have one last question, which is, what is the difference between pursuing masters in data science directly versus pursuing masters in computer science with some data science subjects? Like, which one can land more job opportunities?
So it depends on, if you are keen for a data or data science job, then I think the latter would do more help, because
Hmm.
the masters in data science will give you it'll be everything about data science. The name itself speaks there. So your subjects will mostly be around statistical programming, data engineering, data warehousing concepts, ETL, data analysis, data science. All those subjects will be there. But for someone, let's say a BCom graduate wants to understand, wants to enter the data analytics industry, then I guess masters in data analytics will be a bit too overwhelming for him,
Hmm.
because he doesn't have a computer background, or he doesn't understand the basics. Then in that cases, I would recommend someone to take masters in computer science with data analytics major. In that
Hmm.
way, what will happen is he'll understand. They'll tell you, oops, web fundamentals, everything, databases. They'll teach you databases, and your majors, which is usually 4 subjects out of the 16 subjects, will be data analysis. So
Hmm.
you'll get understanding of the whole computer thingy, and also the data analysis side of stuff. But
Got it.
usually it wouldn't be as depth as the data analysis degree.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
I think still, for depends on your background. If you understand everything, then go for data science stuff. If you have a minimal experience of data science, then go for majors in data science. That's what I would recommend, and that's the difference.
One benefit of doing masters in computer science with data analyst subject is you can land a job as a software developer as well.
That's right. Yeah. I think it opens up multiple positions. You can be a web developer even. You can be a
Exactly.
data engineer. You can be um, a privacy officer, security officer, anything, because it's whole computer science subject in front of you.
Exactly.
But with a data science degree, you'll be confined with data analyst, reporting analyst, machine learning, those kind of roles, data scientist.
Got it. All right, great. Akhil, so that was a very nice conversation. Thanks for sharing all those awesome tips. So everyone who is listening, if you want to pursue masters from Australia, data science or data analytics, I hope this conversation would have helped you a little bit. And Akhil, is it okay if I put your LinkedIn profile in a video description below?
Sure, definitely. I'm completely okay with it.
All right, so we'll put that link so you can connect with Akhil if you have any questions. So Akhil, do you have any final and closing thoughts?
I think we should do our own research, especially what happens when we start applying for universities back in home India, especially. Once you enter the consultant, they force you to take, or they tell you everything possible to pick up certain courses or certain degrees. I would recommend doing our own research and understanding if we really want to do that. Just because the agent told it, it's not 100% true. What I understood after coming here is, let's say I was told by the agent that, okay, so and so university is great. I really know it. I've known it from experience. What happens in the background is, every admission they give you or they get from you, they get a commission from the universities. And due to this, they sought to promote the universities which is paying the highest commission.
Mm,
So just don't believe the
mm,
agents blindly. Do your own research,
mm,
ask your seniors, connect with people who are already working or studying in Australia. Ask them if the
mm.
university is good. Look at the course curriculum before you're selecting the university, and yeah, then go for it. Just don't blindly trust the agents or consultants. That would be my
That's
recommendation.
that's a great advice. Take the advice from someone who doesn't have monetary incentive in giving that advice, correct?
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
All right, great. All right, cool. Thank you very much, Akhil. Once again, it was great having a conversation with you, and I will end it now. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Devil. It was a pleasure speaking with you, and it's my honor as well. Thank you.
Thanks.